Darood, dear listeners, and welcome to Echoes of Persia, where legends of ancient Iran come alive. I'm Simorgh, your storyteller, here to guide you through another chapter of this epic saga. Our journey came to our last episode, Love's Victory, the Triumph of Wisdom. We celebrated the union of Zal and Rudabeh. Queen Simorgh's courageous diplomacy and Saam's wisdom bridged the chasm of enmity, bringing together two noble houses in joyous celebration. We witnessed Simorgh's bold mission to Saam's court, Zal's triumph in wisdom and warfare, and the blessings of King Manucher upon this unprecedented marriage. Prophecies of a legendary hero born from this union left us marveling at destiny's hand. Before we delve into the challenges awaiting our newly wedded couple, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps keep these timeless tales alive for future generations. Time passed, and the graceful cypress began to bear fruit. Rudabeh's spring-bright face grew pale as saffron, her slender form heavy with child.
My beloved daughter, why has your face turned so pale?
Day and night, Mother, I cry out in pain. It feels as though my skin is stuffed with stones, or as if I carry iron within me.
When the time of birth arrived, Rudabeh fell unconscious. Cries of alarm echoed through Dastan's palace.
My daughter?
Simorgh tore at her face and pulled her musk-scented black hair in despair. As Zal rushed to Rudabeh's bedside, his heart heavy with fear, he remembered the Simorgh's feather. With trembling hands, he brought a brazier and cast a portion of the magical feather into the flames. The sky darkened, and there appeared the mighty Simorgh, like a cloud raining coral. No, more precious than coral, for it brought the adornment of life itself.
Why these tears in a warrior's eyes? From this silver-breasted, moon-faced one shall come a lion cub, a hero whose very footprints the lion will kiss. The clouds will not dare pass over his head. At his battle cry, the fighting leopard's hide will split, and it will gnaw its own claws in fear. Every warrior who beholds his mace, his arms, his shoulders, will fall at his feet. Bring a blue steel dagger and a wise man skilled in magic. First, make the moon-faced one drunk with wine to banish fear from her heart. Then let him make the cut to free the lion cub, and fear not, I shall guide his hand.
All the world watched in wonder and fear as Zal followed Simorgh's instructions. Simorgh's tears flowed like rain. For who had ever heard of a child born from the mother's side? A skilled Mobad came forward, making Rudabeh drunk with wine. With the Simorgh's guidance, he performed the unprecedented deed, cutting the moon-faced queen's side without pain. Never has such a wonder been seen. The child emerges like a lion cub, tall and magnificent. When Rudabeh awoke from her wine-induced sleep, she saw her son and smiled, recognizing in him the glory of kings.
My suffering is ended. Let him be called Rostam.
They fashioned a portrait of the infant hero in silk, as tall as the lion he would become, leaned with sable fur, the sun and moon adorning his face, a brave dragon on his arm, a lion's claws in his grasp. In one hand a mace, in the other reins, mounted on a swift horse, attendants surrounding him.
The silk speaks true! If he grows to half this size, his head will brush the clouds while his feet still touch earth.
Saam ordered festivities from Zabul to Kabul. Every corner held 100 feast spreads. Musicians played everywhere, and high and low celebrated as one. Ten wet nurses were needed to feed the infant Rostam, for the strength of men comes from the essence of milk. When he moved to solid food, his portions were enough for 5 men. People marvel at his growth. Never has such a child been seen. By the time Rostam reached the height of 8 men, he was like a free cypress tree. He became as radiant as a star that all the world stopped to gaze upon. In height, appearance, wisdom, and bearing, you would have thought Saam himself had returned to youth. When word reached Saam the warrior that Zal's son had grown like a lion, his heart stirred with wonder.
No child in all the world has shown such warrior strength, such lion's might.
Saam's heart leapt within him. Leaving his army with his commanders, he gathered his wisest companions and rode toward Zabul. When Zal received news of his father's approach, he beat the war drums until the earth turned black as ebony with assembled warriors. He and Merab, lord of Kabul, prepared to welcome Saam. From mountain to mountain stretched the army. The earth pitch dark, the sky lapis blue, the sound of Arabian steeds and elephants carried for miles. They prepared a mighty elephant, adorning it with a golden throne. Upon it sat young Rostam, with shoulders like a lion and the bearing of a king, crowned, girded, shield before him, and heavy mace in hand.
By the Creator! Look how the lion cub sits upon the elephant!
O champion of the world, be joyful. I am but a branch from your mighty tree. I am Saam's humble servant, worthy only of a saddle, armor, and helmet, sending greetings with my arrows.
Live long, my mighty tiger, my brave leopard!
Saam took Rostam's hand, kissing his head and eyes, while the elephants and drums fell silent in reverence. In the golden-throned hall, they sat in perfect harmony. Saam the champion at the head, Zal at one corner of the throne, and Rostam at the other, his mighty mace in hand.
Look at those arms, that neck, those shoulders. His waist like a reed pen, his chest broad and mighty. His thighs are as strong as a camel's, with a lion's heart and a tiger's strength.
As the wine flowed freely, Mehrab drank until none had seen its like, his tongue loosened by pride and drink.
Ha! I fear neither Zal nor Saam nor even the crowned king. With Rostam, a swift horse, and my sword, no cloud shall dare cast its shadow over us. I shall revive Zahak's ways and make the earth musk-scented with my footsteps.
Saam and Zal's lips curved in smiles, their hearts made glad by Mehrab's wine-bold words. When the new moon of Mer appeared, Saam prepared for departure. Zal accompanied his father on one stage of the journey, while Rostam, mounted on his elephant, came to bid his grandfather farewell.
Listen well, my son. Be nothing but just in all your dealings. Keep your heart adorned with loyalty to kings. Choose wisdom over wealth. Keep your hands clean of evil, and seek the divine path each day. Know this, the world remains constant to no one. You need but one path, the path of righteousness. My heart tells me my time grows short, so keep these counsels close.
Father and son embraced, their faces wet with tears, their hearts full of wisdom shared. For 2 stages they rode together before turning back, while Saam continued his journey westward, his tongue warm with counsel, his heart seeking grace. And so Zal returned to Sistan with his army, spending his days in joy with lion-hearted Rostam, while Saam's words of wisdom echoed in their hearts. When Manucher's years reached 120, the astrologers gathered at his court, reading the heavens' decree.
The king's days draw short, the throne's brilliance dims.
Then the time has come to prepare for the other realm. Perhaps there, before the Creator, I shall find a better place.
The king arranged his court differently now, summoning all the mobeds and nobles. He called forth his son Nozar and began sharing wisdom beyond measure.
This royal throne is but illusion and wind. Set not your heart upon it forever. For 120 years I have lived, girding my loins for hardship and battle. By Feridun's glory I bound my waist, avenged great Iraj upon Saam and Tur. I cleansed the world of evil, built many cities and fortresses. Yet now it seems as though I never saw the world at all. Such is the count of passing days. Life is not worth the death that comes to all, when the tree bears nothing but poisoned fruit.
Then the dying king's words turned to prophecy, his eyes seeing far into time.
Soon judgment will be renewed in the world when Moses comes as prophet. He will appear in the eastern lands. Do not turn from him in enmity. Believe in him, for his is the religion of God. After this, armies will come from the Turks, placing their crown upon Iran's throne. Hard times await you, my son. Sometimes you must be a wolf, sometimes sheep. Your harm will come from Pashang's son. From Tooran will come your shame. When judgment falls, seek help from Saam and Zal. And from this new tree grown from Zaal's line, this child who now stretches his branches tall. Through him shall Tooran lose its glory, through him shall your vengeance come.
Having spoken these words, tears fell from his eyes. Nozar wept bitterly at his father's feet. Then, without any illness or pain, the great king closed his royal eyes, withered like a flower, and breathed one last cold sigh. Thus passed the skilled and noble king, leaving only his words as a memorial in the world. After observing the mourning period for his father, Nozar raised his royal crown to the heights of Saturn. He ascended Manusher's throne, summoned his court, and distributed gold. The new king's crown touches the sky. Surely this marks the dawn of a golden age. But before much time had passed, the head that wore the crown turned to injustice. A cry of distress rose from every corner of the realm.
He has abandoned his father's ways. He treats the mobeds and nobles with contempt. Humanity means nothing to him. His heart is enslaved by treasure and gold.
The world changed under the new king. Farmers became soldiers, warriors claimed royal privileges. As chaos spread across the land, even the unjust king began to fear.
The realm boils like a cauldron. Something must be done before all is lost.
In his fear, Nosar sent a message to Saam the warrior, who was then in Mazandaran.
By the Lord of Saturn, Mars and the Sun, creator of elephants and ant alike, I send greetings to Saam the champion. Know that since my father closed his eyes, he spoke often of you. You are my strength and support, guardian of the realm, brightener of the crown. Now the kingdom is in turmoil. Matters have gone beyond measure. If you do not take up your mighty mace, this throne may soon stand empty.
When the message reached Saam, he drew a cold sigh from his breast. At cock-crow, he ordered the trumpets and drums to sound. He gathered an army so vast that the green sea seemed small beside it, and began his march toward Iran. As Saam's army neared Iran, the nobles came out to meet him on the road. They walked on foot before the great warrior, pouring out their grievances.
The crown bearer has lost his father's path. Our flourishing world has turned to wilderness. His awakened fortune now sleeps. Divine glory has fled from him.
What if Saam, the champion, bright of soul, were to sit upon this throne? The world would flourish under his justice. Iran's foundation rests with him.
How could the Creator approve such a thing, while one of Kian blood, like Nosar, wears the royal girdle upon the throne? Even if a daughter of Manucher claimed the golden throne, I would make the dust my pillow before it. His heart may have strayed from his father's path, but little time has passed. The iron has not yet rusted beyond polishing. I shall restore the divine glory and make the world embrace him anew.
The nobles, ashamed of their suggestion, renewed their loyalty to Nosar. When Saam reached the court, the king himself came out to welcome him. With the blessed steps of the champion, the whole world grew young again. Saam stood before Nosar, serving as both guardian and guide. He opened the gates of wisdom with his counsel.
Remember Feridun, Hushang, and your father Manucher. They ruled with justice and generosity. They never cast their eyes toward oppression.
Under Saam's guidance, Nosar's heart turned from crookedness to justice. The hearts of the nobles softened toward him, and he established foundations of respect and fairness.
May the heavens grant you wisdom to maintain this path.
Yet even as Saam departed with royal gifts, thrones, crowns, rings, slaves, golden bridled horses, and ruby-filled cups, the heavens were not finished with their turmoil. Neither peace nor love would long remain with Nosar. Word of Manucher's death and Nosar's failings spread like wildfire across the steppes to Tooran's army.
The great king is dead, and his son fumbles the crown. Iran trembles with uncertainty.
Pashang, lord of Tooran, summoned his mighty warriors, Arjasp, Garsivaz, Bahraman, and the fierce Kalbad. Among them stood Vaisa, the sharp-clawed, commander of Pashang's armies.
Remember Tooran, Salam. Remember how their blood stained Iranian soil. Can any with sense forget what the Iranians did to us?
But most significant was the arrival of his son, Afraasiyab, tall as a cypress, strong as a lion.
I am worthy to fight lions. I am the match for Iran's champion. If Tor had raised his sword, if he hadn't left the world to Garshasp, Tooran would rule Iran today.
Pashang's heart swelled as he beheld his son, arms like a lion's, strength of an elephant, his shadow stretching for miles. His tongue was sharp as a sword, his heart deep as the sea, his palm generous as a rain cloud.
When a commander sees such worthiness in his son, he may well raise his head to the sun. After death, such a son stands in his place. This is why they call a son guide.
But then came Agrirath, his heart heavy with wisdom.
Father seasoned in battle. Yes, Minuchir is gone from Iran, but Saam the warrior remains. Remember Garshasp and Karen the warrior. Remember what that old wolf did to Saam and Tur.
My son, Afraasiyab is a raging lion in the hunt, a war elephant in battle. You too must join him, lending your wisdom to every endeavour. A grandson who doesn't seek his grandfather's vengeance. Can you call his bloodline pure?
Pashang outlined his strategy with growing fervour.
When the clouds clear from China's sky, when rain soaks the plains, when mountains and deserts become pasture for horses, when grass grows tall as warriors' manes, then we shall strike. March your army toward Amel, let your hearts rejoice in meadow and flower, let Dehestan and Gorgon feel your horses' hooves, turn their waters ruby with blood. This is where Minuchir once fought, where he faced Karen the warrior and mighty Garshasp. Perhaps fate will grant you victory on these same battle plains.
I shall make rivers flow with blood. The spirits of our ancestors will rejoice, and our enemies' hearts will burn with fire.
In his eyes burned the flame that would consume 2 realms. In his voice rang the doom of countless warriors. As Agrirath watched his brother's rising bloodlust, as he saw his father's pride feed those flames, he knew that wisdom's moment had passed. The time of the sword had come. When kings dream of glory, and young lions roar for blood, who can speak of peace and hope to be understood? When the plains bloomed like silk with spring grass, the warriors of Tooran girded their loins for war. From Turkestan and China they came, and from the warrior lands of the east, an army without end or measure.
The army stretches beyond sight. 400,000 warriors march beneath Afraasiyab's banner.
When news reached Nozar, son of Minuchir, he led his forces out from the blessed palace onto the plains. They turned toward Dehestan, with Karen the warrior as their commander.
We number 140,000 strong, each warrior tested in battle.
But Afraasiyab was cunning. He selected 2 champions from among his nobles, Shamasas and Kazavan the Brave, and gave them 30,000 chosen warriors.
March to Zabul, strike at the heart of Saam's territory.
Then came news that changed everything. Saam the warrior had died, and Zal was preparing his tomb.
At last, fortune smiles upon us. The one warrior I feared in all Iran has passed from this world.
Before his camp at Dehestan, Afraasiyab wrote to his father Pashang,
We sought good fortune and found it. Nozar's army, if we attack, is but prey beneath our feet. Saam has departed from the king's court and shall not return to this battlefield. Zal prepares his tomb and has no strength for war. My only fear in Iran was Saam. Now that he is gone, we shall take our vengeance. Shamasas sits in the south, wearing his world-illuminating crown. The time to strike is now. Delay makes opportunity slip away like water through fingers.
The birth of Rostam marks a pivotal moment in Persian mythology. From the divine intervention of the Simorgh, to the unprecedented surgical birth that saved both mother and child. This story showcases the extraordinary beginnings of Iran's greatest hero. We witnessed how the infant Rostam grew to become a warrior of unmatched strength and nobility, while Saam's wisdom guided both the young hero and the troubled King Nozar. But dark clouds gather on the horizon. With Saam's passing and the rise of Afraasiyab in Tooran, new challenges await our heroes. Join us in our next episode, Clash of Empires, where we'll witness the epic confrontation between Iran and Tooran, and see how young Rostam faces his first great test. If you've enjoyed today's tale of divine intervention and heroic destiny, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Each week, we bring you more captivating stories from the heart of Persian mythology.